On the field we score goals, kick it hard, lightning rolls, triple fast beyond control. Soccer's life is in the soul. Flynn Show can't miss the heat, analyzing.
Hello and welcome back to the Football Flynn Show. Today we've got the derby of eternal enemies, mother of all battles, Olympiakos versus Panathinaikos. A football derby contested between two of the most successful clubs in Greece, Olympiakos from Peru and Panathinaikos from the capital Athens. Let's get right into it. So, the clubs. Olympiakos, formed in 1925, the kings of Greek football, have won over 80 trophies up until now, winning 47 league titles represented by the 4 stars above their badge, 1 European Conference League, 1 Balkan Cup, 4 Greek Super Cups and 28 Greek Cups. Their stadium is called the George Kakorakis, hopefully I pronounced that right, stadium, and it has a capacity of 33,079, whereas Panathinaikos' stadium is called the Athens Olympic Stadium, 69,618 of capacity, and it's the biggest sporting ground in Greece. Now, moving on to Panathinaikos. Formed in 1908, the Trifoli, also known as the Shamrock, as you can see right here, the Shamrock, I've got the Panathinaikos kit today, have won over 45 trophies till today, winning 20 league titles, 4 Super Cups, 1 Balkan Cup and 20 Greek Cups. So, you might want to ask yourself, what's their rivalry? So, the cultural rivalry, as I said earlier, Panathinaikos come from Athens, considered back then of being the rich class, whether Olympiakos would be considered represented more as a working class because they were from a port city. The class differences between the two caused some rivalry, but Olympiakos' early success attracted fans from all over Greece. To this day now that has completely faded out, but this was just back when the clubs were getting formed. Now, moving on to the next part, was their fans' rivalry. So, Olympiakos and Panathinaikos are two of the biggest clubs in Greece. So, if you're two of the biggest clubs, if not the 2 biggest clubs, you're going to have a good fan base. You're going to have a loud fan base, a powerful fan base. Well, you should have anyways. And that will consist of fans from, as I said earlier, higher classes, lower classes. And nearly every club has that. But when you watch these two play, it's a thriller to watch, and that doesn't even matter if you're watching the game. You could be watching the fans, the atmosphere, and it's electric. It keeps going between the two sides, flares are getting lit off, and that could go on for the full game, and you could watch that, come home entertained, happy with the game. But then if you add the football into that, the fieriness, the fire in the belly between the two sides, you know, it adds to the game, and that's what makes it so special as well, because of the fans and just the derby itself. Now, on to the last part of the rivalries is the football one. So, as I says, 2 of the most successful clubs in Greece. Both clubs have competed every year to be the most successful club, but that's just not in football. It might not just be in football, as both clubs have basketball and volleyball teams. And I can tell you, the basketball team, Panathinaikos, are ahead right now by 1 point in the league. They've had 14 matches played and they're 1 point ahead of Olympiakos, 28 to 27 in the league. Olympiakos, though, back to football, have won more trophies between the two sides, as I said earlier, but they've been most successful between the two sides in the outcomes of the matches, winning, I think it was over 80 matches, and Panathinaikos, I think, was over 50 or over 60. But a lot of those matches, over 70 of them, were drawn. So it seems a bit equal there, but over time, Olympiakos have probably been more successful. And not probably, they have been, because they've won probably 40 more trophies than them. But that still doesn't mean that Panathinaikos are worse than Olympiakos right now. And that takes me on to my next topic, which is the current day. So currently Olympiakos are top with 40 points and 18 games played in the league, with Panathinaikos just 4 behind and they're third. But Panathinaikos' form and Olympiakos' form have been really good, both winning 4 out of their last 5 matches, and they also played a couple of days ago. Yes, they played in the Greek Cup a couple of days ago, ended 1-1, quarter-final, leg 1, 1-1. Now we go to the 5th of February where it's leg 2, quarter-final, whoever wins gets through. It's basically a 0-0 match, you know, that could be one to watch. But what ruins it a bit is because they played before that as well, which could add to it, or it could maybe disappoint for the quarter-final game, as they play, I think, not too long before it, and then they've had probably like 3 derbies in a couple of weeks. So on the 5th of February I will be watching. Now on to my last topic, which is players. So I did the players with Jesus Navas. I looked at that on my Jesus Navas show. If you haven't seen that, go look at it. It's in my channel. I looked at some of the players he's played with, but I'm going to look at some of the players currently now. I'm not going to go back in the past. Well, for Olympiakos I am, because you've heard a lot of big names, but for Panathinaikos and Olympiakos, I'm just going to go through some of the players that are playing with them today. As you might know some of them from anything really, just watching football, playing FIFA, just random things, you know, so you might just know who they are. So for Panathinaikos, Maximovic, who actually used to play in the Spanish league for Getafe and Valencia. I do remember him because I remember packing him on FIFA. They also packing on FIFA is Teddy, who some of you might not know some of these players, but he's a Brazilian midfielder or winger who used to play for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he was 76 rated, non-rare FIFA one time, I remember that. Facundo Palestri, Man United fans will know he's playing for Panathinaikos. I'm sure the United fans will know who that is. Bakasetas, who currently is the Greek captain, so he's a good player, centre attacking midfielder. He played against Ireland, I'm pretty sure he was the captain that day, and he actually played well against Ireland, so he's also playing for them. Now, on to Olympiakos players. Well, there are a couple. Well, there's Willian. That's just the first one to point it out. Willian, I don't think I need to explain to you his career. You know, he's probably been a lot of teams, Arsenal, Chelsea. Everyone's pretty much seen Willian play. That's self-explanatory. Next, on to Roman Yaremchuk, who's a Ukrainian striker who used to play in the Belgium league for Club Brugge. And I remember packing his inform on FIFA. That's how I know who he is. But he actually played for Ukraine in the Euros, and I thought he was a good striker, and I thought he played pretty well. So yeah, he's playing for Olympiakos now, and he actually scored against Panathinaikos the last day in the 1-1 draw. Next up, we've got 3 Portuguese men. Chiquinho, I remember he was 76 rated on FIFA. Gelson Martins, I think everyone has heard of Gelson Martins. He's been around a good lot of teams, and you probably have played him in FIFA if you've ever played FIFA before, because he had 90 something pace and everyone wanted to use him. And as well as that, Sergio Oliveira played for Porto, man bun, middle midfield. He was actually pretty good when he was with Porto anytime I watched them. So yeah, they're all with Olympiakos now. But I was looking through their players, and I went into their legends. Now, Panathinaikos have a lot of legends, but some maybe I'm too young to understand who they are. But when I was looking through Olympiakos, you had 4 big names kind of stood out to me. Was Yaya Toure, a fellow citizen, Rivaldo, a big name, Marcelo as well, another big name, and James Rodriguez. So if you look at the category players that I played for both sides, because I'm not signalling out anyone here, but I just know those 4 that stood out to me. They probably stand out to anyone else, and it's just 4 big names really. But yeah, that's the topic on me just looking at different players, and I think it's quite enjoyable just to look back at teams past or players past and look who they've played with or who's played for the team. But I think that's going to be it for today. Maybe I might make this a series if you want to see other derbies around the world, because it is pretty cool to learn about the derbies. If you have any, comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.
On the field we score goals, kick it hard, lightning rolls, triple fast beyond control. Soccer's life is in the soul. Flint show can't miss the heat, analyzing every feat. Plays replayed in rapid beat, soccer world at Flint's feet. The football with Flint, where the game begins, breaking down each win. Feel the hype it's in. Flags waving, crowd is loud. In the stands we all stand proud. Goalie dives, fans go wild. Footwork smooth, hit the dial.